You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name's Dave, and this is a Fistful of Podcasts from FFOPradio.com. Back for another great week, or whatever. I'm running out of time to put all this stuff, so maybe this is a bonus episode. I don't know. Wild carded, baby. So yeah, there's not even a name for this episode. So what happened is, this is a rambling beginning that you probably are like, okay, get over it. So what happened was, somehow in my mind, I got an itch to watch some Karate Kid. And for whatever reason, I landed on Karate Kid 3, and I thought, who do I know that does Karate Kid and does it well? Summer, you're back on the show.
Yep.
I mean,
there's no other option.
Yeah. So
It's a given.
You're on this iteration of the show. So, full disclosure, people who are new, this is my cousin Summer, and she's a Karate Kid expert. That is one. Brady Bunch expert. That is two.
well.
The trifecta. Oh shit! Hold on. It's Karate Kid, Brady Bunch, and New Kids on the Block.
It's on the block.
Oh, I can't believe I almost blanked on. Okay, so.
True child of the 80s.
Yeah, so guys, Karate Kid 3. Cannot believe the racism that lasted into the third movie. We'll get into it. So Summer, let's jump right in. So here's
Now,
also.
but let me just say too, I've seen this movie at least 17 times, but I did rewatch it last night, so it would be fresh.
Yeah, here's my fear. Pull that down a little closer, or at least down. Yeah. Here's my fear. The way I experienced it was in 52 chunks on a playlist on YouTube, and some of the clips lined up perfectly, and some lined up very jaggedly and abruptly. So you may have to fill me in. I have 4 pages of notes, and I worry it's not enough because maybe I missed something. So maybe we'll have to go over that too.
Be your wingman in there.
So maybe this, and I bring that up only because of the first thing that happens, or the first thing that I saw was just a recap of the old movie. Mm-hmm. It's like Cove going over with what's his nuts, and it's like it's like the broken leg crane kicking shit.
Well, because like sequels in the 80s are
You need
not
to
like
catch
sequels
up.
now.
Yeah,
it was
you
a
need to catch up.
continuation of the story, not just a whole other story with the same characters.
Yeah. So, but I get you also would have to. It's kind of like, hey, we know you probably don't own this on VHS,
Or you do.
or maybe you do, but they did you the solid of catching you up.
Yep.
So that was just confusing
Plenty
me
of
at first.
flashbacks. Yep.
So, and immediately we jump into, this is the first time they use this word in the movie. Oh, they cut it's from the original Karate Kid, so they're like, beat it, Slope. And I can't believe, like, number one, that's such a weird. It's like the weirdest racism slur ever.
I don't really know what it means. I know it's derogatory, but I don't know what it really means.
It's very old school, I'm sure, because it's not something that has. It's
Right.
not like the big ones, for like the big ones that are out there. It's like, what? So that's always a weird like bump in the road, because every time they say it, it's like, I don't know.
Very true. Did I hear that? I did.
Okay. And this refreshed my memory because when what's his nuts, Kreese?
John Kreese.
John Kreese. When John Kreese and Miyagi, the final fight, and he's like, whoa, and he's like, and he ends up honking his nose. And Daniel, I hate Daniel. Let's get that out of the way early and often. I fucking hate Daniel in every incarnation. What a dickhead. Mr. Miyagi spares Kreese. Just honks his nose. Ha! Mr. Miyagi is kind of like Splinter. He always gets a funny in at the end.
He does.
First thing Danielson says, why didn't you kill him? You wanted your master to commit murder in front of a gang of people?
Right.
What the fuck,
Not
Daniel?
logical, right?
No. Oh my God. So I already started to put a bad taste in my mouth.
But that was from the second movie.
Yeah. I realized it was a flashback.
Okay.
So then we get Kreese walking down Skid Row.
Yeah, he's like
I was like,
washed up.
I immediately was like, okay, how long was it from 2 to 3? How long? Because like this is ridiculous. Because not only has his dojo failed, but the businesses around it have failed.
Right, like
His dojo was so
years
big.
and years have passed, and
Yes,
but not really.
And yeah, it was like the neighborhood's son was the dojo, the Cobra Kai dojo.
Right.
And when
the
people
anchor.
stopped going because they got disgraced, they're like, I don't want to go get groceries next to the disgraced dojo anymore.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, whatever. So that's the thing. Like, I was like Skid Row. That's weird. And then you do the again cliche, but I think they did it in such a way that I liked it. They shot it well. Was the like classic, not voicemail, but answering machine. Answering
I think it
machine.
was like a brick too.
Yeah. John Kreese, you owe us money. John Kreese, we're going to kick you out. John
The
Kreese.
phone company.
Phone company. This is the mortgage company. We're going to have to blah, 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 blah. So Kreese is like, I'm going to pack it up, man. I'm going to pack it up.
Yep.
I'm going to go see the corporate guy.
I don't know if he's really a corporate guy or
He's
like
the
his
owner of
old
the
buddy.
dojo.
I guess he's like the financier.
Well, yeah, like I took him to be the owner of because he is. He's literally the owner of the Cobra Kai dojo. And there's always references to the other things he does.
Right.
But he spends weeks of his life just to fuck with two people.
That's like
Okay.
John Kreese just comes in. He's like, yeah, they ruined my life because they beat me in a karate tournament. And
yeah.
then it's this guy's mission to make
This
them
is when
suffer.
Yeah, he tells him
Suffer some more.
we get some context here because he says it's been 9 months. Nobody's walked in my door in
They
9
say
months.
9 months, yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that. 9 months, huh?
I was like 9 months, but yeah, this is when the millionaire guy becomes irrationally like into revenge.
Yeah.
We're gonna make him suffer. We're gonna make him suffer more, suffer more, and like all the while they're driving.
And then I'll start with the pain.
With the pain. Yeah, because he has an unrational like attachment to Kreese.
Well,
Even though he
saved his
is
life in Nam.
well, but the thing is, yeah, I get that there's a Nam connection with those two, but he is a failure. Technically, he is a failure, and people left. So his confidence in Kreese is misplaced, and it has been disproven twice. There were 2 prequels, people.
Right.
But whatever. So I can't remember the bad guy's name.
Terry Silver.
Silver. So yeah, Silver says, "Hey, how do you like Tahiti? Wink, wink, wink.
You're going now.
You're going." Yeah, he sends his ass to Tahiti.
He just drops him off at the airport.
Cause I'm sure Cove, he was like, I don't feel like being in I feel like everybody, his mom does the same thing.
Right.
And that's weird too. So he's like, let's go to Tahiti, and Silver's like, bye out of the movie, Cove.
Right.
And he goes, doot, and in the same shot, here comes Miyagi and Danielson.
Right. Yeah.
Where were they coming from? Where was the second one?
Okinawa.
So they must have stayed in Okinawa for 9 months.
I know they were there for a while, but I didn't think it was that long, but apparently it was.
It's canon.
to
It's
that.
canon now. I took a note. I have 4 pages. Trust me. I'm going to write a book later about this movie.
Yeah, 9 months and
Yeah,
they're just back and
yeah. So now we have to like get back into it and explain why all the main characters that were in the previous ones don't want to appear in this one. So this old lady's like, "Oh, they're doing something crazy over there," and
from the original. Yep, and the dog.
And yeah, so she boom, gone out of the movie.
Yep.
Miyagi gets a call from his mom, Danielson's mom. He goes, "Hey." And,
Hey.
oh my God.
Oh,
Mother. And she goes, "Oh, my Uncle Louie's got emphysema and I got to watch him here. He's 70 years old. I don't know when I'll be back. Wink, wink, audience. I'm not coming back.
Not coming back.
Please enjoy this cameo."
Yeah, like we needed to explain her absence.
Oh my God. It was so sad. It was like they were. You might as well. They exited the movie so fast. They might as well have been written to have like gotten into rocket ships immediately after they finished speaking and. So they were ditching the franchise like, oh my God, whatever. Not important. Everybody's just ditching it.
Yep.
So the millionaire guy, he is.
Gross.
He's gross, but I have to admit,
gross.
he is my favorite character.
Ah.
Only because of his performance. I think that he knew he was in a bad movie. I think he read. I think he read the script. He was like, "Oh, look! In the first 3 pages, 4 of the 5 main characters ditched the film."
Do you think though, when it came out in, I think 89, that came out.
89, yeah.
That and at that point in time, he probably thought this was his big break.
Who?
Terry.
Oh yeah,
like,
totally.
There's never been anything before. Like he's gonna really like. He's got something to prove.
Yeah, I do think that was. I think he was probably swinging for the fences because he was going to have to, explain the fact that he was in Karate Kid 3, and he's like,
right.
I got to do my best, man. Like I got to put this on my reel.
Got to sell that.
And he plays it to how it should be. He plays it cartoony, but it's a cartoony movie. Everybody's. It's like everybody's so willfully ignorant. I'm so
right.
And Mr. Miyagi puts up with so much shit. He is everybody's workhorse and deals with everybody's problems with good humor, and constantly gets punished. So we'll get into it.
Yeah, I realize watching this again, my true love with these movies is not Daniel. It's always been Miyagi.
It's Miyagi. It's Miyagi. So here's when we find out, or they're coming back from Okinawa, and I don't know why they were doing this, but they were moving out of that bonsai shop that.
Well, because the landlord sold the apartment complex, and he lost his job as the maintenance man. Oh,
okay. I couldn't remember Karate Kid mythology, so that was confusing.
Yes.
So okay, we get this like sad. Oh, I'm Mr. Miyagi and I'm sad. I'll land on my feet, kid. But I need money. Need money for dreams, Daniel-san. He says, and then like an idiot. This is the first. One of the first red flags is like Daniel-san pulls out
a wad of cash
and starts waving it in Mr. Miyagi's face.
I got money,
and I'm like. To start a dream, a life dream. Do you think you would have that in your pocket, Daniel-san? You motherfucker. I fucking hate him. Oh my God. Worst character.
Not to mention that was his college fund in his pocket.
Oh God. So then, whatever. We got a call to Kreese in Tahiti. And Mr. Silver in a bath with his secretary.
Now let's talk about the bath.
Please. He allows so many people access to his dong.
Yes. The bathtub. Did you notice that the size of the bathtub was like a 1-person hole in the ground? Like you could only fit 1 person. It was so small.
It was very shallow as far as breadth.
It wasn't like even a regular bathtub where you could put 2 people.
No, it was
this
weird.
Was like
it was
a
like
circle.
Yeah, almost circular. It is a weird thing. I think they just shot it weird. I think they just shot it under they just shot it bad. This movie is shot so badly.
Yes.
But seriously, he's in the bathtub and he's like smoking a cigar and he's like, "Get me Mike Barnes, the bad boy of karate.
Right.
Get me
Who
Mike
he finds
Barnes."
in a magazine.
Yeah, and they just lead him right into the bath.
Yep.
They don't say, "Oh, Mr. Silver, your bully,
your guest is here. Yeah,
your antagonist is here," and he goes, "I'll be out in a second after I dry my balls." No, send him in.
Yeah.
Send him in and let him hang out with me. My ponytail's wet. My secretary's already here.
My old lady secretary.
Oh my
and
God.
My 2 little swarmy, slimy snake guys.
Yeah, what's his name? One of the guys' names is Cobra, and it's
Snake. His name is Snake.
Sorry, Snake, and what's the other guy's name?
I forget the other guy's name, but I know
because he's some regular name. It's like Steve or something.
Yeah, maybe he didn't get a cool name.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, okay, so millionaire guy already giving this kid 20, like the deal was 20%
Of all the dojos.
all the dojos. And keep in mind, this guy is throwing 20 dojos alone at Cove.
Now, did you... Well,
Hundreds this guy has.
Right. How old do you think Mike Barnes is?
Like 17, right?
Right. Yeah, he's got to be under 18, right? To
Totally.
even fight in the tournament, it's
Yes.
under 18.
Yes.
So this is a 17-year-old kid we're talking about.
And he comes in here and is like, the deal is 20. Thanks for bringing me. And he's like, that's not good enough, old man. He's like, your ponytail is shit and suck it. So he says, I want 50%.
Right.
50% of all the dojos. Hundreds. He is instantly a millionaire.
Right.
Just to fight a single kid.
Right.
That's how committed this millionaire is to petty revenge.
Right. Why didn't you just hire a hitman?
What?
Like, why go through all this?
And yeah,
Just hire
but
someone to knock it
but
out.
not only like he doesn't want to kill him, he just wants to humiliate him
Right? Yeah, that's
and
right.
make his knuckles bleed. Because on that
Knuckles
Tahiti
got to
call,
bleed. Yeah.
he calls him on the bath.
Knuckles bleed.
Yeah, you call it so petty because. And they make such a fucking big deal out of it. He's
Well,
like, hey,
and they did deliver on that later on. so.
yeah, I get it. It was paid off, and I did feel less ripped off and less shitty later. But the fact that Cove is getting, or Crease, his real name's Cove, Crease is getting rubbed down by these two Tahitian girls.
Right.
He's like, make his knuckles bleed. Yeah, I like that idea.
Look at Johnny Boy.
Johnny boy! Woohoo! I don't understand his unreasonable commitment to avenging his Vietnam buddy over a petty loss.
Right.
But we wouldn't have a movie, so here we go.
Right.
So okay, so now I think this is the point when they were collecting. Oh, I felt like here more foreshadowing, which I felt shitty. So I think Daniel-san and Miyagi are out like collecting bonsai trees, and I'm like, this is filler. Just get on with it. He's like, oh, how to wrap tree and here roots and yada yada yada. And he's, oh, P.S. There's a real one down in the devil's asshole.
Right.
It's worth $10,000.
$10,000. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, why? Number one, why tell Daniel-san that?
Right.
He is a perpetual fuck up. And so I'm like, okay, foreshadowing. And okay, so I annoyed, still very annoyed. So there are new rules in the tournament. New rules. So the returning, I imagine for time. For script time, that is. The only person the returning champion has to fight is the winner of essentially the tournament. So all you gotta
One
do,
shot deal.
Daniel-san gets to show up and fight one dude. And he's constantly going to Miyagi, be like, sign this paper. I want to go fight, I want to defend the title. And Mr. Miyagi says, karate, about honor. It's about, it is about honor, not about plastic trophy.
Right.
And he's like, you burn that thing. Worries go up in smoke. So there's a couple of half-hearted, like, sign.
Yep.
I feel like that went on maybe a little too long.
Well, Daniel was very persistent.
He was.
With Miyagi, like, he wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and that's the whole theme of this thing is, like, rebellion against Miyagi.
And then, the second that he does decide, okay, I'm going to do what Miyagi says, and
he
I'm not going to fight.
How do you, at this point, it's the third movie. How do you not listen to Miyagi, you fucking idiot?
He's like the freaking North Star, right?
Yeah, he is your...
Right.
He saves your ass literally 3 times the movie.
And as soon as Daniel-san comes around and, like, decides he's going to go with Miyagi, that's when Barnes and his little gang of guys, then they start harassing him nonstop.
But here's the thing. So Daniel-san, they're driving home and Daniel-san's like, oh, I got you a little something. And he's like, oh, because the whole thing is Miyagi's thing is go to college. Right. So Daniel-san gives him this little pen box looking thing. He's like, here you go, Mr. Miyagi. Look at it. And he goes, "It's my college diploma." I was just kidding. Open it. And like, stupid move. I feel like this is the stupidest move. It's a lease to a place. Like
for 2 months.
2 months, security deposit, and all this other shit. I'm like,
well, he paid cash for that.
oh my God. He's like, "I don't need college, Mr. Miyagi. You need a studio to run your Oh, that's the thing. Bonsai is how I've always pronounced it, and they always say bonsai. Bonsai. Like, I get it why Miyagi says it, because he wants to sound Japanese. When Machio says it, I fucking hate it.
I never noticed, but yeah, he tries to say it with the accent.
Every time. Oh my God.
Bonsai.
So, then we're introduced, like, we get in, here's the thing I love about it too. We get in Miyagi's perfectly restored, beautifully painted, immaculate truck. Oh, let's go another place. Oh, it's in a bad part of town.
It's across the train tracks.
Yeah. We're going, and that's the thing. Oh, we're going. This is the side of the tracks. And you're gonna change your life, Mr. Miyagi. So it's obviously a shithole. And they go in and like, oh look, there's a pottery place across the street.
Right.
Wink, wink. We'll look at that later. That was another. Okay, whatever.
Pointless, yeah.
So they go in. Obviously, it's a shithole. But and Danny turns Miyagi around.
Right.
Somehow.
Right.
He's like,
well, now they're going to be partners.
He says, yeah, that's the thing. For unreasonably, this is the stupidest thing Daniel's son has ever done. And Mr. Miyagi is like, oh, your name on lease too. Partner.
We partner.
And so here's the start of a running thing that pays off at the end. Daniel's son's like, oh man, Mr. Miyagi tries to go up for a hug. He's, bow.
Yeah.
We bow.
Always bow.
So,
hug for you.
So now, obviously all the stuff with the stuff is going, the contract, not the contract. Why do you have to sign this thing to get into the?
That's what I kept saying to the whole thing. Just fucking, you don't have to sign it, or just sign it and then not show up.
Right.
Like, really, what are they going to do?
He keeps going to Miyagi, being like, sign it.
Right.
And Miyagi's like, I ain't going to do it. No, I ain't going to do it. And so Daniel's son finally gets it through his skull, but not until the millionaire sneaks onto the property. And
he just walks in.
Yeah.
Like, he just walks into their yard.
Danny is like walking through like the yard, drying his hair after a shower, humming atonally.
He sneaks in first,
and he's got like that classic shadow against all the rice paper doors. And what? He's just like, huh? Yeah, looking around, walking.
Sneaks in. First thing on the left. It's all the information he needs, right?
Yeah, he must have
there.
come in looking for a box of clues.
A box of newspaper clippings
He's like,
from the Second World War.
Yeah, every old dude has a box of newspaper clippings from the Second World War. And it starts a cascade of like red flags of like, how would you know?
Right.
That are all ignored. I will point them out every time. Trust me. So yeah, whatever. That's the thing. I just couldn't get why Daniel's son couldn't just fucking sign it himself.
I know.
And then when you find out later he could, I was like, well then what the fuck, Danny?
I know, right? Why did you bug Miyagi? Like, what does it matter?
Yeah, I was like, isn't he an adult at this point? Like, how old is he? I guess since they have to be 17. So yeah. So it's time to visit the pottery shop. What is this actress's name? This redheaded girl. She played a witch also in.
I don't know. Mary looked it up and was like, "Oh yeah, she's in all this stuff." And I'm like, I don't know her from anything but that.
I know her from the witch movie, but okay, so I don't know her name. I'm just gonna say, I don't even know her character name. What's her character name?
Her name in that movie?
I don't think I wrote it down. I just said they go to the pottery. Oh, Jessica Andrews. Jessica Andrews. Oh, that's the thing that I wanted to say. Okay, so they're in the ghetto. Like, they're broken down cars. Like, the place is, like, obviously, they're like, this is the best, because it's in L.A.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, place takes place in L.A. A lot of Skid Row type areas. And he walks across the street, and the person who owns a pottery shop in the middle of the ghetto is this soft-spoken, clean-cut, red-haired white girl.
From the Midwest?
From Ohio.
Right.
and her name's Jessica Andrews, and he walks in, and she's immediately jacking off a pot. Like, I've seen her in things before, and so when that immediate shot where you see her hands like whoop whoop
Right,
whoop,
right.
I had to be like, whoa, because I was caught off guard. I was very it was a dicey moment for me.
Right.
And so like he introduces himself, and it's like the worst sort of meet cute 80s sort of like over explaining things.
Danielson has a new girl in every movie. Like, why can't he keep a girlfriend?
That was the thing too. Like that was one of the things they mentioned it early on. It's like, I can't believe she broke up with me because I blah 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 blah.
Right.
I realize I make Danny sound a little more like Tony Danza, but they one and the same.
Right.
So I was like, oh my god. Oh, also one of the craziest things that they just. Someone less picky would not have noticed this, and maybe you haven't, and you might be like, oh yeah. So when he just walks in one door and is, bam, in the pottery shop watching her jack off this pot. They have a chat. He asks her out on a date as they're walking through this pottery shop, but they have a conversation as they're walking through this pottery shop. He came in through a single door, and they walk through room after room after room after room. And I'm like, and there are people.
Fun house of pottery.
Who are these people? And then they get to the front door. They open it, and there's the fucking dojo, or not the dojo. It's a bonsai. We're doing the bonsai thing. So, and they literally, he opens the door, and there it is. You can see it. What the fuck? How does this building work?
From the outside, it just looks like a teeny little rinky-dink little, like a one-room,
Yeah, and
tiny little place.
He walked in one door. They had to walk through 8 rooms full of people working, and they're like, that's where I work.
I didn't even notice that.
It's like the Beetlejuice house.
Right.
Watch it again, and I know you will.
Is this where she lives in it too? Because there's scenes where they're in like her little apartment.
No. Yeah, her little pink apartment. No, this is her studio. The one across the pottery studio across the street.
Yeah.
And you see it a million times. It's literally just a storefront.
Yeah.
It made out of scrap wood
Yes.
and metal
Cardboard.
that says pottery.
Yeah, that's it.
And then, so that's why it's mind-boggling. Because you know the scene. He walks in one door and he goes, and she's right there.
Right.
Because that's the first thing he sees, and he's hands in his pocket, and he immediately starts jacking it. And then they walk through 8 rooms.
Right.
It's like the quantum leap of pottery shops.
That's
I was
funny.
like, whatever.
Right.
So then you'll have to forgive me, because when he goes through the all those clippings, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I had forgotten all the mythology.
Well, yeah, he was looking for like inside information.
Yeah, but when it came up, that news article that said the 442nd, that was totally lost on me.
Right.
But you know, he's looking at all these news articles. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna categorize that because I'm sure it'll come up later.
It does.
So Silver is running through, and he sees on a wall, Miyagi's got his Valor medal hanging up, and he's like, he like pets it a little, I
rubbing
think.
it.
And so that's the thing I don't get is like Miyagi's got the World War II service, Silver and Kreese have the Vietnam service, but they hate each other.
Right. They should be like brothers.
Yeah, the Vietnam guys hate Miyagi, and they think they're so much better than his World War II shit. They always bring it up.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck you and your World War II shit, man. We were in them. And then they like fist bump. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing that?
Right.
But so this is, Miyagi pulls up and Silver's like, and he does the ninja thing. And I'm like, oh, very sneaky, which is weird because they're karate, not ninja.
He thinks so.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. So Daniel-san, he's like, hey, Mr. Miyagi, watch this. And he lights the thing on fire. And he's like, I don't want to do no tournament no more.
Listen to you.
I want to do the bonsai tree shop with you. And so he throws it. And it's like, happy ending. And you hear coughing, and Silver's up in the chimney.
Yeah, he had to scoot up there real quick.
I thought that was an interesting touch. There were a few things that made me be like, oh, got me. That was one of them. So I'll give him credit.
fake out.
Oh, and this was a heartbreaker. So the first date with Daniel's son and Jessica Andrews. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, it's me, Ralph Macchio. She goes, oh, hey, Ralph Macchio. Guess what? That picture that you saw when you walked me home or whatever, that picture you saw where that head was ripped off that dude, my ex-boyfriend, we got back together. It was less than 8 hours.
Right.
Less than 8 hours had passed.
And
Yeah, we got
not only are we getting back together, but I'm moving back.
moving. Oh my God, what a dick move.
Right?
I felt bad. Like, Daniel's son's a moron and he deserves nothing except for all the pain he gets. But I felt that in my gut. And what a way to start at your first date. She goes, so
Let's go Dutch.
we can still, go Dutch. And, oh, so sad. So sad.
Right. But he still thinks he has a shot.
Yeah, he's moving.
He's still going to try.
This is where I wrote down my notes. Daniel's son is a simp.
What's a simp?
A simp is it's hard to explain. It's a modern day millennial and kid term. Like if you're a guy who constantly throws attention at a girl and it's always just one side, it's parasocial, and you're a guy and you're like, oh, notice me, money, your attention. That's a simp.
Got it.
So yeah, I was like, fuck this, fuck it.
Right.
Oh, and he's here. So everything's like karate.
He's got to show her
Everything.
The store.
Remember when you were
story.
jacking that pot off earlier?
Right.
That he could
That's
turn
a karate move.
Yeah, because he's always up in Miyagi. He's like, let me show you how Mr. Miyagi would teach me how to teach you.
Right.
So, he's like, doing the pot thing. And he's like, do this. And now I'm going to try and grab your tit. And she's like, hiya. And he's like, now do this and grab my shoulder and turn my butt. Like, how? What do you mean? She was just making a pot. Like, she's going to infer all of this.
Yeah, she's a ninja, yeah.
From just like, I think he's giving her a little.
It probably would have.
much.
She probably would have done it. It would have worked out if they weren't so interrupted by.
Yeah, the bad guys.
Yeah.
So it's Snake and Mike Barnes. What such a generic name.
Snake's like the guy with the turtleneck and the gold chain.
Yeah, the gold chain,
and
but
the
not
earrings.
his gold chain is peculiar. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but instead of a solid like big gold chain, it was like links and then big medallions and then links and then medallions, or like I feel like it wasn't a regular chain.
I didn't pay that close attention, but probably.
It looked like grandma costume jewelry is what I'm getting at. Like there was so little attention paid.
Right.
So yeah, this is the first attempt to get Daniel's son to get him to join the tournament because if he can't if the millionaire can't get the humiliation out of Daniel's son the crease once, then Mike Barnes can't get 50% of all the dojos and therefore giving up millions of dollars. So I see Mike's desire.
Right.
I see.
He's got a fire lit under his ass.
Yeah, he does things a few things further than I would, but we'll get into that.
Can we just talk about this guy's hair for a minute?
Please.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like those old containers of like Dep gel.
Yeah.
It's like he took 2 handfuls of it and went straight back on the sides.
Yeah.
And then took a blow dryer and some mousse to the top of it.
It's so
like it's fuzzy and dry on the top, but slicked back like cement on the sides.
It's Duplo head. It's like straight up and flat.
It's like a square, yeah.
Yeah, it's so perfect. And since he's blonde, obviously, because every 80s bad guy is blonde, it just blends in with his skin color, so it just looks like he's a Duplo or a play school Fisher-Price square-headed dude. And he's such a dick. So yeah, they come in and
world-class dick.
I don't get their approach, like coming on so aggressive immediately, and why send the hothead and all this, whatever. So whatever. I thought, okay, this is obviously also going to be a recurring thing. Is Daniel's son is going to get his ass kicked repeatedly by Barnes?
Do you know in that scene, like the first guy comes over and he thinks he's going to push Daniel around, and it's like Daniel like totally reacts,
yes,
kicks this guy's ass, and he looks like a polish, like the moves look good. He like gets the guy, And then the other guy comes at him, and it's like
and he freezes.
He like just takes it like one punch after the next. He doesn't know what he's doing.
This movie finds him vacillating between extreme competence and extreme incompetence from scene to scene. It is startling at times because he will display feats of competence in skill that you're like, why aren't you doing that all the time? And then there are times when he's like, I don't know how to sweep the leg, Mr. Miyagi. I gotta read a book on how to sweep the leg.
Right.
This is all you're supposed to be doing is training. You're the fucking Karate Kid, you idiot.
Yes, you are.
So, whatever. A bunch of stuff goes on. Is this the first time where they assault the girl?
No.
They don't assault the girl yet.
They don't assault the girl, but they do make like a sexual.
This is the first.
I forget what they say, but something insulting. Like
this is the first sexual assault innuendo.
Yeah.
It becomes later. It escalates to full on threat of rape.
Yes.
But this is the seed that is planted where it's like, hey, baby, I want to get down. She obviously is like, and she's like, the dudes are like, guess what? It's the 80s and we got penises. Right. And I was like, uh-oh.
Own you.
Well, this is going to be like dark Back to the Future style. Gee.
Right.
So let's see. So, yeah, we cut to, Daniel-san and Miyagi are doing kata in the backyard.
Right.
And red flag number one, a stranger walks in the backyard.
Doesn't even knock.
Doesn't knock. Just walks
in.
Straight through the backyard, pushes in. He's like, oh, hey, guys. Moment of your time.
Right.
I forget the fake name he gives. Maybe he just gives him his name, Silver.
He tells him his name.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm Silver. Check it out. I was a friend of Kreese. He was depressed, and he died.
Yeah.
Died of a broken heart, he says, essentially. He says he died. And I wanted to be like, so the guy that you survived Nam with.
Right.
And that you admittedly earlier had said that he saved you multiple times. This is the story you want to honor his memory with. You're going to tell Daniel-san and Miyagi.
Right, that he just died like a bitch.
One karate fight killed this pussy?
Yes.
Okay. Nice legacy. Nice one, Kreese. Okay. And so he says, I'm from Korea, the Korean office. The Korean karate office sent me.
He works at the Korean
karate office sent me as an ambassador to mend bridges with you.
Apologize on his behalf.
Yeah, like the Miyagi school. A grand total of one student.
Right.
A Korean karate school and corporation sent a man from Korea to
an American
LA.
From Korea. Yeah.
To make amends.
Right.
For Kreese.
Right.
And that's
they just fall for it. They're like,
accept it immediately.
Yeah, this is.
I get Miyagi. I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
Miyagi is just like Miyagi can take care of himself. He's like, I know what's gonna happen, but Daniel's got to learn a lesson.
Right.
He takes everything in stride. One thing I love about this movie is Miyagi.
Yes.
I think we can agree. He is a pot of gold. Everything he says.
He's funny.
Because we just did Ninja Turtle trivia. He is Splinter.
Yeah.
He's all dad monologues and cracking like dad jokes that are like ha ha ha, like honk honk, got your nose crease.
He's a really crack jokes in the first one or the second one, but this one he like has this personality now.
Yeah, and he doesn't overplay it. Like
it's all like at the right time.
The director was probably like, yeah, do whatever you want. And Miyagi knew. He's like, I'm not going to sully this character. I'm going to play. Right. Don't worry. I got it under control. I know who Miyagi is. I'm sure he got it. Like, I'm fine. But this is the mac and cheese date that they get.
That's the second date.
The mac and cheese date is the second date?
Yes. Because remember the first date, they don't even get to go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
The guy
you're right.
So then they're going to have well, it's not even a date. She just shows up and says,
okay.
Oh, I have this dinner and my aunt didn't show, so are you hungry? And then they talk about mac and cheese for an hour.
This bitch is so misleading. This is her, the beginning of her misleading. First date, she says, check it, peep on this shit, thanks for the date and whatever, you're super cute, or BTFO or whatever.
Right.
I got a boyfriend. he wrote me a letter and then I called him and now I'm going back.
Right.
She has a job. She leases that pottery store.
Right.
And yet has the freedom within minutes of being I'm going to Ohio and just is like, time to pack up. And then later when we see her inside her apartment, literally everything is up and nothing is packed. I'm like, what the fuck, bitch?
Right.
She's
like, better start packing.
What a dead end of a side plot.
It literally dead ends. Like, literally.
I was so angry. But whatever. So the mac and cheese is
she comes over.
Yeah.
To offer the mac and cheese. And that is one of the notes that I took, is that he literally says macaroni and cheese so many times.
I love
macaroni and cheese. I love macaroni and cheese. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay. I feel like he was probably improving, and I'm sure he was like grasping at straws to be like, does it rhyme with anything? Can I do something with it? And he's just like, oh, fuck. And he just
say it
stalled.
again and again.
And they're like, they'll get it in editing.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Nope.
Oh, so now dudes show up again. We got a problem. Dudes show up number 2. Oh, no, I forgot one thing. Another thing on top of all the weird shit that Silver does. He's like, I was in Vietnam, Silver says. And Miyagi's like, I was in World War II. P.S. You wouldn't know me because why would you? Why would you know me? Think about that. If you knew me, that would be weird. Right. If you knew me as a Japanese old man, if you, a 20-something-year-old, knew a 70-year-old man's, and then he goes, oh, you were in the 442nd.
Right.
Another red flag that just sails on by.
Right.
What the fuck?
Like, just a coincidence, okay.
That would be if like someone walked up to you or I and knew who your 5th grade teacher was, and this is your first time meeting them. And I'm a huge fan.
Right.
I remember Miss Brown.
Right.
What the fuck? But Mr. Miyagi's like, oh yeah, thank you. Like he wanted to sign an autograph. I was in the 442nd. Thank you. What? Come on, Miyagi.
Right.
Come on. You're smarter than this. At least you're funnier than this.
Right.
Holy crap. So, what?
So back to mac and cheese.
This is
this is when they come.
The girl kick.
Yep. She takes one. I can't remember if they kick her in the face or right in the girls, right in the chest.
I thought they kicked her in the stomach because she like.
Yeah, you're right. It was kind of in the middle.
It's like she can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it goes from like mild intimidation to straight up assault.
Yeah, so he's like kicking Daniel's ass, and then she says something
all
like,
over the
"Stop
place."
it."
Yeah.
And then he like snaps his head back and gives her the stink eye, and then just throws this kick in the air and just like knocks her ass over. Like, bitch, don't even.
In 10 years, he will be in jail.
Right.
Because he will have murdered his first wife.
I can't think of even a movie or even like anything where a guy like that kicks a girl like that aggressively just because she's
maybe that was it. It was like the 80s, and like we're gonna show everyone that girls are involved in action.
Did he have to kick her though? Is that what they had to do to really drive home what a dick he is?
Well,
like he just would kick a girl in the chest.
Yeah, and he's also still like, because she's like, "Oh, stop beating up Daniel-san," and he's like, "Shut up, bitch! I'm doubling down on my innuendo of sexual assault. I'm coming back for you later." Oh my god! And I'm like, how is this happening? Like in the 80s, it just seemed like in the movies made us think that in the 80s we were constantly going to get the shit kicked out of us in abandoned buildings, or because we found a dead body, or because it was just like this free for all, and nobody ever got in trouble.
No, they got away with it like
every time.
Well, well, that's later, but here's the thing with that scene, like the next thing that happens was one of my favorite parts of this movie. And it's nighttime and it's raining, and
yeah, I think this is a good one.
And like Miyagi, like reminiscent of the first movie when he kicks their ass when they're in the skeleton costumes.
Yeah.
He like swings the doors open, and like here he is, this shadow, like this silhouette, and he's like in the moonlight. He's and the music is like don don don, and then he just comes in and beats the shit out of all of them, and then they go running with their tails between their legs.
That's how every fight ends.
Yeah.
Daniel-san has had 3 movies to get proficient at protecting himself, simply protecting himself, because people, for some reason, want to kill him constantly. And he's had 3 movies, and he spent 9 months in Okinawa, where
he was fighting someone there too.
Yeah, he spent 9 months. Did Miyagi not train him at all for 9 months?
Right.
Whatever.
So my favorite part is actually like, okay, it's not the fight scene, but it's what happens right after the fight scene.
Is it the donuts into the train escape?
So right after that,
let's acknowledge that.
They do that, yes.
It's a good one. Because after causing physical, he chases them out. They jump into this convertible and do donuts, doubling down, like not running away, but doubling down on the shit they just did. Like, fuck you, you're gonna sign that shit. See ya. Wow. And then they narrowly miss a train.
Right. Yeah. Which, just barely.
They are so lucky, because that was a baller move that looked badass. Even though I hate these guys, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But it could have so easily been like.
Yep. That would have been the end of that.
Like, Mike Barnes' head would have landed
down the street
in Ralph Macchio's lap, and he'd be like, the end.
The end.
Cool, but close call.
Now, the best part, okay, so they spin out, they beat the train.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel-san, he's got like a black eye and a split lip. He's been kicked around, and the girl's like still holding her chest, and oh my god, those guys. And then it cuts to the scene where Daniel-san and Miyagi are driving home.
Okay, yeah. That's a completely different scene. So that's why I didn't count it in the...
But it's like right after that fight scene, right? That's when they get in the car.
That's when they're driving home and Mr. Miyagi's singing.
Yes, that's the best.
And
Daniel-san, sing a happy song. Oh, da.
I was like, what do we do? Like,
and Daniel-san's so pissed.
Yeah, he just got his ass
He's
kicked.
singing, Miyagi's laughing, and he just keeps going, da.
Yeah, it's so funny. And so yeah, I do.
And
like
the truck's
that.
like old and bouncy, and they're hitting all the bumps, and he's like just bumbling along.
Yeah, and he's dancing and sort of like bouncing and whatever.
Yes.
So they pull up to the house.
Yeah.
And all the bonsai trees are gone.
They're all gone.
And of course Daniel gets pissed. This has been his fault from the beginning. And so, he's like, oh, god damn it, Mr. Miyagi, we gotta call somebody, man. Oh boy, call the police.
Classic Miyagi. How's he gonna handle this?
He says, I am going fishing. I go fish.
He goes and gets his fishing pole out of the closet.
And not solve problem of an empty stomach.
Right now, I'll eat.
It's like late. Time doesn't matter in the Karate Kid universe.
No, it's
whenever they
nighttime.
want to do something, they do it.
Yeah.
It'll be in the middle of the night. They'll train. They'll go fishing. It'll be the middle of the day. They'll go to sleep.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But Daniel-san doesn't like it, so.
No,
So now they've lost all of their inventory. So Daniel-san has to come up with a plan to replenish what they've lost.
So I'm trying to remember in my notes here. So Dudu got a fish, empty stomach, he says. My note says it's night. This is the 80s. Is this when they go to the club?
No, that's later.
Okay. Why would I write this is the 80s?
I don't know.
That meant something to me. Oh, well, yeah. That's why. Because as Daniel-san is like, you got to take control of your life, blah, 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 blah. This is the 80s.
Yeah, he says that a couple of times. This is the 80s.
So weird. Every time he said that, I wrote that down. That's why. Okay, so now, So it's the next date, if you will, of Daniel-san and Jessica. And he's telling her about his interaction with the cops.
Right.
He literally got his ass kicked. He had bruises on his face. He had lacerations. He had blood spilling from his lip. And he's like, cops didn't want to hear it.
looked at me.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, the cops didn't care. They were laughing, and then they
He showed
finally...
him because remember when they stole all the trees, they left the application to the tournament dangling.
Yeah.
And he took that to the cops, and they made fun of him because...
I like, on what planet do the cops... And like, he was beat up.
Yeah.
They didn't take it seriously.
Like, I mean, like they could have just said, this is... He could have filed an assault charge.
Yeah, like
The
do
roof is
something.
all over his
The
face.
80s were so lax. This is the 80s.
Right.
The cops don't care. But what a so we're at the devil's asshole.
Right.
And why?
And why does the devil's asshole look like it's somewhere in Hawaii, but this is supposed to be like LA? Like,
Yeah.
there's no devil's asshole anywhere in LA.
Yeah, exactly. Where, like, 20-minute drive from LA, you just go to, like, this beautiful volcanic caldera.
It's all, like, mossy
Yeah,
and rainy.
It fills up with water and the
Yeah.
thing, and it's like this beautiful...
That's not LA.
No fucking way. but that's the thing. So they're... He's like, we need money, so I'm going to go... Dig up the legitimate bonsai tree that Miyagi brought here from Japan. The only thing he was able to save and bring to America was this bonsai tree. It's worth $10,000. So he brought along Jessica Andrews because she, for some reason, knows how to rappel.
Yeah, she's a skilled rappelling artist. They're gonna rappel down the devil's asshole.
Literally no lesson. They like
just
bam.
strap up and
they
go.
strap up and they're like, okay. And her advice is stuff like trust the rope,
right?
Lean into the rope and trust the rope. I'm like, this is your advice? You are 300 feet in the air,
right? Going backwards down this cliff.
For the first time.
The rocks are like coming out from under their feet.
You kidding me? I was like, you are a whatever. You're the fucking worst. So, trust the rope. Worst. So, I don't get this. So they finally, there's trials and tribulations. They like slip and it's like, oh my gosh, close call.
They slip a few times, yeah.
Yeah. So they get down there. He, delicately pulls out the tree and then he asks, like, how do we get back up? That wasn't discussed yet, Danny?
Well, don't forget what happens before they try to go back up, right?
Yeah. So
they have a little whoopsie.
Yeah. So fucking these stooges are like, they might as well have like nails sticking out of their skull and like butter coating their hands.
Right.
He's like, well, we got to be careful with the roots and blah 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 bling blah.
Right.
And careful. Whoa! Drop the plant all the way down. Oh, and the salt water's
all the way
hitting
into down to the end. Yeah.
Why?
The water's like just like washing over it,
not
killing
only
it.
Are you going to not save Miyagi's store, but you're going to destroy his only personal tie to his home. You fucking dick.
They're not just like scooting down. They're like full blown kicking off the dirt, like going down feet at a time, like boom, 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 like they are Spider-Man down the mountain.
She was able to teach him in a crisis.
Yes.
She says, now be a professional. And he goes, okay. Now that the bonsai tree is up for... Oh, yeah. So, whatever. So they're like, oh, water. Keep, so...
Yeah, they got whatever, their canteen. They've got to rinse off the roots.
Yeah. And
repack it.
Oh, the ropes are going up.
They're like, tick, 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 tick.
So stupid. It felt very Princess Bride, I want to say.
A little bit.
It felt very like old-timey. But they're like, hey, so now, here's where we've reached the ultimate. Mike Barnes is back.
This line has been crossed.
Snake is back. He is ready and willing to commit murder. He says, you sign, he tosses down, like, that was the thing too. He tosses down, wads it up, tosses it down, he says, sign it. Like, they would accept it. Like, it's going to be dirty and covered in seawater, and it's going to be shoved in Dan's pants, and they're just going to be like, accept it.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
So now he says, sign it. Daniel's son says, no, I ain't going to do it still. I ain't going to do it. And he says, all right, well, the tide's coming in like, and he goes, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Give me a break, guy.
That whole thing's going to fill up in 12 minutes.
It's like nothing but dry land being lapped by the weakest waves in the world. 12 minutes, my ass. Whatever. He goes, okay, fuck, I'm going to blah, 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 I'm going to sign it. I'll be in your goddamn thing. Yeah, just get me out of here. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So they're pulling him up, and of course, since it's the 80s, it's Dick to 11.
Uh-huh.
So they get up there and they stop like, whatever, 8 feet from the edge.
Right. Just enough.
Go get the snake. Go get the thing.
He
Go get the
belly
thing from
crawls
him. Yeah.
down, like face first down the cliff.
I expected him almost to like go, what?
Right,
Take
that
the
would have
thing
been
with
better.
him.
You're like, whoops.
I was so hoping. But yeah, he gets the thing and he goes, okay. Also, we're going to rob you. Give a snake. Get the bonsai tree.
I know,
get the
take the
bonsai
tree.
tree. And
he
snaps it in half.
Well, first he's gonna throw it, and Danielson is like begging for his life, like please.
Danielson is he's so stupid. He is so fucking. Everything he does ends in tragedy and or loss in the tens of thousands. What a fucking dickhead!
Right.
So yeah, we get this whole begging scene, and it's coming, and
and the music too.
Swells. And
yeah.
Like, oh my god. Like,
and Danielson is just deflated, like he just gives up.
You just want to be like, stop, Daniel, stop trying to help. You're shit. You suck, and I hate you. God, did I hate him.
And let me tell you another good thing in this, like the next scene, right? They finally, I guess they get out. The tree is busted in half. And of course he has to take it immediately to Miyagi to try to save it. And when he walks into the shop and he's got the tree and he's holding it, it's split in half. And when Miyagi turns around, his face
is just
so like the sincere,
defeated.
the pain, like, oh my God, that's like he recognized that's my tree.
Yeah.
It's broken. And like, it was legit. Like his
imagine, put yourself in this place, listener. Imagine the thing that you have stored away that you think is safe and is so precious to you that you would die without
You rappelled down a mountain to keep it in a safe place.
Imagine, and not only that, imagine knowing you're putting it in a place that no one will ever touch it.
Right.
And then just like watering and sculpting and then just turning around one day and seeing that thing not only before you, miraculously, but destroyed.
Yes.
And Miyagi,
you can feel the heartbreak.
It's just like, hope the roots are good.
Oh,
hope the roots are good.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What a
damn you, Daniel.
He's the antagonist. He's not the protagonist in this movie.
Right.
Protagonist is Miyagi. He's constantly fucked over by the world.
Right.
And this is also when or this is about the time when rather like the dudes are like, hey man, I got some trees here, and Danielson's like, where'd you get the money for the trees? He's like, sold the truck.
Sold truck.
What
did you tell me?
Oh my God. So not only did he just when he turned around, that wasn't a fresh Miyagi. He had just sold his beautiful truck to buy trees.
His antique
He's
truck.
like, oh, well, at least things are starting to turn around for me. Oh, my tree! Oh, Miyagi.
Oh.
But then later when you see all of his classic cars, I feel less bad. He has like 10 cars.
Yeah, but he also like obviously has a lot of pride in that, and it's like his house, like it's like immaculate.
I get
it's all done with his bare hands, right? Like he worked and made that happen.
I'm just saying, I felt less miserable from him doing that when you look out into the parking lot that is his backyard and see all of those classic old timey. I was like, okay, Miyagi's not
right.
He's not dead, and
he'd rather have a bonsai tree store than his truck. I guess
he's an adult.
Yeah, he makes his own choices.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So, boy, oh boy. So he's also. This is when he's like, "I need you to train me.
Right.
I need you to train me, Miyagi. I'm taking.
No.
They made me. Blah 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 blah. What do you mean no?
I know.
What?
I know.
Mr. Miyagi, I gotta fight these guys. And he's like,
No.
I was like, all right, Miyagi, boundaries.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yep. And it's like, how does Terry Silver know that Miyagi is being such a dick about it? Like,
right. And he knows when to show up.
Yeah. So like, I think it's right about now when he popped, they're like jogging.
Yeah. That was the weird thing. Cause he was like, Miyagi's like, I'm not going to train you. So, Danielson's like, oh, second best. Oh, the redhead.
Yeah.
Thanks for training me. Cause we're going to jog.
Yeah.
And that's nothing but constant like it's a scene about bitching about jogging.
Mm-hmm. And then Silver pulls up in his little, I don't even know what the truck is. It's a little like Toyota truck.
We missed this part, and I think it's funny. We should mention it. So when the millionaire dude Silver is coming to infiltrate Miyagi and Daniel's world, he's doing it undercover. So he tailors his wardrobe. He has multiple junk cars paraded in front of him, and he's like, "No, not enough character. That's an obvious no." So he basically crafts this persona. The amount of energy, the calories burned in this revenge, simply because Kreese lost a karate tournament. Right. Staggering.
Lost it fair and square too.
Yeah, but. To each his own. He's got millions of dollars. Right. Oh, one of the things I thought was funny too, back in the tub when he's on the phone, and he's like, "I don't care what those idiots say. I'm dumping all that toxic sludge in Borneo." I was like, "What?"
And you remember the phone he's on? He's not like on some high tech 80s,
no, it's the old timey
cell phone. It's like his old timey Victorian cell phone.
That was ritzy. Yeah, that was ritzy in the 80s.
Right.
If you wanted to show evil bad guy, it was like that phone. And I was like, number one, why because to my knowledge, he only owned Cobra Kai dojos.
Right.
And I thought he was a millionaire because he had hundreds of Cobra Kai dojos across the nation. Mm-hmm. Where is he getting these toxic chemicals?
Well, he talks a lot about getting sued.
Yeah, he's always talking about getting sued.
And how he's going to fight off all the lawsuits.
And later you find out, like, spoiler alert, his company name is like Dynatox. They don't drop it until like the last 10 minutes, but at the very end, they're like, he owns Dynatox. And I was like, really?
Oh, yeah, at the tournament when they introduced him.
Dynatox?
Right.
And Cobra Kai International? What the fuck?
Yeah, he's got it all.
I love toxic chemicals and karate.
Right.
Are you... okay, so whatever. At one point, Danielson gave Jessica some tickets to a dance club. Mm-hmm. So now this is when those pay off.
That was the going away present.
Weird. Your going away present is a date with me.
First of all, they were tickets. Like, I didn't know you had to have tickets to a dance club, but they were also just like a pink piece of paper. Yeah. Like someone just cut it out with scissors, like a...
like my junior high prom tickets.
Well, not only did the tickets represent a junior high prom, but the club itself.
Totally.
That's the first thing we said. This is just like...
Maybe it was just like a very underground thing. I would buy that it's underground, it's the 80s, and it's like, because there was a live band. So they probably would have collected something, I imagine, in this world where this is an actual club and not like a cafeteria. So whatever. Date time. And of course, again, Silver shows up. How is he tracking Daniel? We never saw him. Before we go to
Silver, hold on.
Okay.
Like, did you make any kind of note about Daniel's dancing?
How awful it was?
I don't even know how to describe it.
It's basically him like flapping his arms up and down at the elbow.
And then twirling in circles.
Yeah, it was. Now, obviously, there was probably no live music playing when they were shooting.
Right.
So they're like, all right, guys, dance. And the redheaded girl.
How much would it cut out of the budget to give him a couple of dance lessons?
Or just have someone off camera clapping the beat.
Right.
He was completely off, because the redhead is like, dee, 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 like everyone's like that and that, like sort of moving to the same beat. And Danielson looks
all over the place.
Like if a chicken fucked a catfish and like that prodigy squeezed itself out onto a dance floor, that is Danielson.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
In his jacket, and his jeans, and he's twirling around. Yeah. And he looked like Tiffany in like a Tiffany video, but like that's not how men dance. Like, no, I don't know.
It was very
noteworthy to me.
Uncoordinated.
It was pretty bad.
He's very uncoordinated throughout this movie, despite being a karate.
Yeah, you think he'd be pretty, I don't know, balanced and
you would.
You think he'd be steady?
No. So whatever. So Silver Silver's like watching. He's like watching her at. He's like, all right.
He's like from behind the pole.
Yeah, he's like a sneaky
what am I
bad
gonna
guy.
do? Yeah.
So this guy gets rapey with a lady. And he's like, come on, baby, why don't you touch my dick out here on the dance floor? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you pig. And she slaps him. And he's like, you bitch. And he's about to go after her. And Silver, he's like, perfect.
Like jumps in the middle, right?
My
Yeah.
perfect person I need.
Yeah.
So he like flashes
bait
cash
dog.
right under his nose immediately.
Right.
And like there's some whispering and you're like, okay, what's going to play out here?
Right.
Now, why? They're leaving.
Right.
They're leaving and they're like, dude. Okay, that was a fun. Like they dance once.
did
Like
one
that was
dance.
fun. Bye.
Like high school kids, they go out, they dance
Yeah.
to one song, and then they leave.
Yeah. And so Silver pops up just out of the crowd.
Right. He's just there.
And
Like,
Daniel-san's like, oh, hey, yeah, you.
Right.
Like, this is a place where 15-year-olds hang out and you're in your 30s. This is weird. And he's like, hey,
now,
man.
mind you, Silver's been training Daniel now at this point for
Has
a little
he?
while.
I thought he was still grooming him.
Well, he's kind of in the middle. Like he's been training him a little bit. And this
So he
is
gave
kinda
him a
like
book. Yeah, okay. So
test-
that's their through line.
gonna
So
test out his,
part of the revenge
yeah.
plan is Silver wants to train Daniel in like an evil way.
Yeah, it is at the end because remember after that happens, Daniel's like, "This ain't me. I can't do it anymore."
Yeah. But I think at this point, I think all he's given him is the book.
He's done the full training at this point.
Okay, so we should have talked about that then.
Yeah, we skipped over that. Of
So let's go back to that. So Silver, and it's like in the middle of the night,
course,
like because he's like, "Hey man,
he shows up in.
come by Cobra Kai." Why is there always that stepladder in that dojo?
They're always like painting.
Every time we see that dojo, we come back and that same wooden ladder is in the same place, and this takes place over weeks.
It's always under construction.
What the fuck?
It's got some
So,
project going.
Yeah, and as is tradition with the movie, he shows up in like the middle of the night, and there is Silver doing a kata.
All alone.
He's like, "Hey man, thanks for showing up." And he's like, "Hey, I would like you to train me because Miyagi's not,
Right.
and also the redhead doesn't know karate. Apparently, she just
Right.
knows how to jog. So please train me." And he goes, "All right." He's like, "When do we start?" He's like, "Get the fucking gi out of the closet. We start now." And here is the crux of his plan. He wants to torture Daniel by making him do these very difficult things.
Well, yeah, like
But by doing that, he makes Daniel strong. He basically makes him train ultra hard and then laughs.
right.
It would be like if I had my fighter was going up against Mike Tyson. I'm like, "You got it, champ." And then I run over to Mike Tyson and like give him massages and I'm like, "Work harder, buddy." Why would you do that?
Right.
And then he just laughs. He's like, "Tee hee hee." Like he's like, "No, break these wooden beams."
Right. He's
break
trying to make
these.
him like super aggressive.
Yeah. I get it.
Like
He wants to make him
It's a head game, like because he knows Danielson's soft,
Yeah.
and he doesn't want to be aggressive.
right. He's pushing
We're
him
gonna fuck
toward
with him.
being an asshole, but that's it. He's
That's
also making him like a stronger fighter.
He's also making the knuckles bleed.
Yeah, that's the thing too. This physically doesn't make sense because he's got the wooden dude. For everybody who doesn't know, he's got a man made out of wood essentially that he can
Right.
kick and punch and shit. And so now, at this point, has Mike showed up at the backyard and been kicked out by Silver? Like that coincidence hasn't happened?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yep.
So Danielson's in the backyard. Another random insane, like this is a coincidence on top of a coincidence. Like fucking what's his nuts? The bad guy shows up.
Yep.
He's like, here's the thing. He wants him to fight in the tournament, and even after he gets the solidified agreement that he will fight in the tournament,
It's in writing now.
he wants to fight every time they're near each other. Like you got what you wanted.
Right.
All you fight him once and you get 50% of millions of dollars. Why are you constantly? Your dog in this hunt is money. You don't give a shit about Danny. Ugh, what a fucking dick. And then so Silver shows up. He's like, "Hey, quit picking on my friend." And he
Right.
roughs him up a little bit,
just
gives him a
enough.
little kick in the ass. And he's like,
Yep.
"Here's that book about ninjutsu, about
Right.
sweeping the leg."
Right.
They drop that a lot. They say sweeping the leg.
Yeah. Gotta
Really
learn to
early.
Sweep.
Oh, and that this is also another great Miyagi moment. I'll call them Miyagi moments. Miyagi's going home for the night at one point, and the redhead standing next to him, and Danielson shows up in the yellow car, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Miyagi, you don't have to train me nothing, but you know how to sweep. You know how to sweep. I'm not asking you to train just this one thing. Just yes, Danielson. One moment." And I saw this coming from a mile away.
It's
He goes,
so fun.
"Where you going, Mr. Miyagi?" He's like, one moment. So then, the redhead, Jessica, and they
He's
have
like,
some
he's gonna
exchanges.
teach me how to sweep. Oh.
And I think she shows him one of the pots at this point. She's
Uh-huh.
like, "There's a bonsai on it."
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? And so, of course, here comes Mr. Miyagi. Bam, broom. He's a sweep.
You hold like this.
Hold like this, yeah. And so Danielson, as if he like a teenager. Like a 12-year-old girl is like, "I don't need this. I'm out of here."
You don't want to teach me fun. You don't have to make fun of me.
What a dick. You don't make fun of me. And he's like, "Oh, thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing, Mr. Miyagi."
Right.
What a fucking dick. I hate Danny
And Miyagi's
so
like,
much.
"Oh shit." He's really mad. Like he's like always looks like he's about to cry.
I hate Danny so much. Like, Mr. Miyagi puts up with so much shit from him.
Yeah.
Oh, also, this is a good one too. So he's got to hide the fact that he's training now
Right.
with the bad guy from Mr. Miyagi. And so he comes home and he's got a fucked up foot
Betrayal.
from kicking those wooden legs.
Yeah.
And Mr. Miyagi comes in and he's like, "Oh, come on in. I'm just doing sit-ups in my bed, Mr. Miyagi.
Right.
I use a pillow to hold my foot down." Fucking idiot. So Mr. Miyagi's like, "What's with foot?" He goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, what?" And he pulls the pillow away and like, "Why? Don't do this." He's like, "Oh, what this? There's a huge bruise the size of a baseball." He's like,
Right.
"Oh, I don't know.
I was affected in my sleep.
See, I was just doing sit-ups here in my bed, obviously, wearing one shoe, still had one shoe on.
Right.
The other shoe was off with a huge bruise I hadn't even noticed.
Right.
So he uses his green miracle foot powder.
Yeah, he's fizzy.
This comes back a couple of times, and I like it.
Yeah.
And so
Apparently it's stinky.
it is stinky.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens of importance here? I feel like Miyagi, he's like, "Come on, man, tell me what's going on." And Danny's like, "No, man." He's like, "I'm just,
Like Miyagi wants so bad to help him, but he can't. He's got to let him learn this lesson on his own. He's got to let him fall on his face.
Yeah, he's done it. This is the third time now. I feel like Miyagi would be like, "Dude, we've done this.
Right.
We've done this." But also, on the other hand, he is being literally forced by two dudes who
Right.
are constantly
Harassing
actually harming
Yeah,
him
yeah.
and, saying they're going to get with his girlfriend.
Right. They're going to rape
So,
this girl.
How do you say... And Miyagi's like, "I'm not going to help you until I have to actually save your ass."
Right.
So now, obviously, this is when the dude gets Daniel to get his knuckles to bleed, and he's like, "Ha, ha, ha, ha."
Right.
But I'm like, but he's getting stronger. Like, you're
Right.
making him... I feel like he's half to blame for the reason Daniel's son wins in the end.
Right.
What a fucking crazy...
Yep.
Okay, so now, in the dance club, they're walking out, and guy got the cashew flashed under his nose. He's like, "Hey, baby," and like immediately pushes Danny out of the way, and like buries his face into Jessica's neck. He's like, blah, 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 blah. He's like, "Let's dance, baby," and Danny's like, "Hey, she's with me," and he's like, "I don't give a fuck," and he pushes him. He's like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." So Danny, because of all this aggressive training
Right,
from
he just
Silver,
reacts,
he
like-
gets the eye of the tiger and he bam
Like
hits
instinct now.
hits the dude in the nose,
Bust the nose right open.
and a series of unbelievable events happen. They immediately flee.
Right. They run.
Silver is like,
Silver
"Get the fuck
grabs him.
out of
Come on,
here!"
run, yeah.
And not only that, we also get the confirmation that he stiffed the guy who got his nose broken, because security doesn't grab Danny for breaking the dude's nose. They grab the dude's who's
Broken.
bleeding.
Right.
And he goes, "Hey, what about my money?" And they disappear into
Yeah,
the night.
Right.
Only later for Danny to be calling the hospital.
Right.
How?
Arguing on the phone.
Yes. Number one, how did he find out which hospital the dude went to?
He just called.
He just called him the call.
He called them all until he found the right one.
And he's like, let me talk to the man whose nose I broke.
Right.
Which,
just let me talk to him.
I'm glad to see that 80s hospitals are just as tight with people's information as they are today.
Right.
That actually made me feel good.
That's too good.
Yeah. And, then Miyagi shows up and he's like, but I got some dude's blood all over my shirt, Mr. Miyagi.
Right.
Mr. Miyagi.
Well, he like mouths off and he's like, this is
All
what's
the
happening to
time.
me and you won't train me, so I gotta do what I gotta do. And then he slams the thing in his face and Miyagi's like, seriously, tears
Yeah,
welled
he
up in
makes
his
him
eyes.
cry. He's such a dick.
Yeah.
Pat Morita plays this character so great.
Yeah.
Even though this movie sucks, there are two
yeah.
redeeming qualities. Pat Morita, and when they do like training montages where like they'll have helicopter shots and it'll be nicely framed on a mountain and they'll have interesting framing sometimes.
Except for the wobbliness of it.
Yeah, then that sucks. But for
the 80s though, that was
that was money.
cinematography,
Like
yeah.
that was before drones. That was a real helicopter out
Right,
there.
you could tell, yeah.
blowing Daniel's son's hair around.
Right, yeah.
Holy shit. So let's see.
So he's punched the guy, he's mouthed off Miyagi, and then he has the epiphany, right? Like, I'm turning into an asshole and I don't want to be an asshole. So now what does he have to do? He has to go to Silver and cut it off.
Yeah. Why make that? Yeah. He finally, you think, whoa, the turning point. He sees the light. He says, Miyagi, I'm so sorry. I realize now, because he was getting super aggressive.
He was.
Like, not like, because when he first meets Silver, he's like, very friendly and like, very much honor, and I'm from the karate dojo and blah, blah, blah. As soon as the training starts, he's like, blind your enemies, like, kick them in the balls and break their ribs.
They can't fight.
Yeah, it becomes very like, almost like scientific experiment levels of aggression.
No fucking mercy.
And so, Miyagi says nothing, but he should have.
Right.
Because Daniel's son's like, well, I'm going to stop training with him. And let's see, it's 10:30 at night. I'm going to go run by his dojo and tell him
I gotta wrap this
person.
up right now.
Are you fucking kidding
And
me?
Miyagi's like, why you go now? Why? I can't go tomorrow?
He does the slow turn toward camera, like tear in the eye. We know what's coming. He shows up.
Right.
There's
Big reveal.
This is the huge, I love this part.
Yes.
Big reveal. He says, I don't want to be here anymore. And he goes, aha, this is my evil plan.
Right. It's all come to fruition.
Good news.
Here.
Yeah. And the best part is, it's kind of like a double reveal where he's like, I've been working against you the whole
Triple
time.
reveal.
Yeah. I forgot. Because it's like, haha, I'm evil. Wahaha.
You've been making you do things you don't want to do all along.
We've been pulling the strings. And then, bam, out walks Mike Barnes. And you're like, oh, no, in cahoots. And then he's like, and overly theatrical.
Right.
Overly theatrical. And also, P.S., they walked by this cardboard cutout when they walked in.
Right.
They would have seen him.
You would think.
But whatever.
With Kreese.
So Kreese jumps out behind his own cardboard cutout and he goes, da-da-da. Because earlier, Silver had told Miyagi and Danny that, remember, he died of a broken heart. So they were all sitting Shiva.
Yeah.
So now it's like, he's back to life. Spending 80 minutes of the movie in Tahiti getting rub downs from two chicks.
Right.
And drinking mojitos or whatever. Finally, he comes back.
It's too much for Daniel to take in at once. Like, the lies and the...
It's
scheming,
revelatory explosion after revelatory
and they're all like
explosion.
Holding onto their belts and kind of circling him like wolves, like they're gonna get him.
It's very animalistic. It's very like alpha, like especially
Very
with Kreese back in with his big wrinkly face and sort of sternness.
Yep.
But again, guess who saves the fucking day?
Because he knew.
Of course he knew.
He always knows.
He shows up in the middle, like just door. He only can show up where there are double doors. I feel
he has to kick them open.
They have to swing open. He has to be exactly in the middle. Behind him has to be like maybe a little light, but he has to be like Or like even better yet, where it's like lightning flash in the background where he's in complete darkness.
And he's always in the brown suit. Like,
Yeah,
man only has one outfit.
His little onesie.
Yeah, his little brown safari man onesie.
And listen, and this is one of his famous things, is like he had no martial arts training.
Right.
He practiced his ass off then for these choreographed fight scenes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he looks like he's just dealing with stunt doubles.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like, I'm not gonna fuck. These guys are gonna phone it in, but I'm fucking Pat Morita. God damn it!
Mm-hmm.
And so he takes all of them out. He's like, wha wha wha. Bam bam bam, hitting them.
My all-time favorite.
Go ahead.
Just say my favorite part of this whole movie, which was years of laughing and jokes with my brother because we used to watch it together. First, he takes out Barnes.
Yes.
He kicks Barnes' ass, and Barnes like gets thrown into the corner. You know, he's kind of slumped
like an
over
old
the corner,
tissue,
right? So then the next guy to come after him is Kreese, and it's the same. Like he's got that look. He's gonna punch him. He flips Kreese over, and Kreese is now down. And so the only guy left is Silver. And every time there's a fight scene, like in the beginning where he's like practicing and he's just beating up these guys, like I always thought he looked very jiggly. Like he never looked sharp and like.
Oh, Silver?
Yeah, he would punch and it was like jiggly. Like I don't even know.
That's the thing. Like when you look at Morita, no technical skill,
everything
but
is snappy.
Yeah,
and it's
he
clean.
knows what he needs to do. And
this guy's like he would throw a punch and then it would kind of like
just going through the motions a little bit, sort of unrefined.
So the all-time greatest moment is, Silver, he's ready to kick Miyagi's ass, and he begins to taunt him. Yes, yeah, okay. And the taunting. Oh.
Oh. Yes. Oh my God, I can't believe I almost forgot this.
No. This is the greatest moment of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. It is.
You know how many times I've said the word "whoa"?
Oh my God.
In my life.
Because when I was watching it, I'm like, why is he doing this?
Right.
Why is he doing this?
Right. And Miyagi's just locked in like a freaking like Godzilla. Like he's just try it, dude. Yeah, like he's so calm and just stone faced. Like try it.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And of course he comes after him and Miyagi does his moves and flips him and
obliterates
throws
his
him
nose
into this mirror, right?
Oh,
He goes into the mirror,
yeah.
and the whole mirror shatters, and then the can of paint falls from the ceiling.
The can of paint.
It's like fresh paint.
What the fuck is going? Yeah,
it's
like
just an open can of fresh paint.
Open can of fresh paint above, just hanging on what?
Right. I don't know. It falls. He's covered in paint.
Yeah. This immediately goes from super cool to insane.
Right.
At the drop of a hat.
And then so then Miyagi, the guy's he's on the ground. He's covered in paint. He's like, "Oh my God, I just got my ass kicked by Miyagi."
Yeah.
And he walks over to him and he goes back at him. Ooh.
Yeah. He goes, "Ooh." Oh, it's so funny.
Ooh. It's the best.
After this amazing fight scene within context of the movie, he's like, "Okay, Daniel-san, we're out of here." Then everybody gets up after freshly having their ass kicked, and they laugh.
They laugh like they won the fight.
Yeah, they're like, "Ha ha!" Like he has paint dripping off of him, and everybody is laughing. And this is one of those instances too where they're like, you were in World War II and we were in Nam, and that's the better war, you old fuck.
Right.
And I'm like, isn't the military thing like you like? That's your thing. You don't say, I was in this war and you were in that war. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Kreese, you piece of shit.
Yep.
I don't like all the times he was like, what I just don't like all that weird war illusion stuff because they'll just drop a little hint like, you saved my life so many times in Nam, and they have the picture of him from Nam, but they never really develop it. So it's just like, okay, like, does he have like shell shock? Is he having to deal with that in any way? Like, did he just sail through it without a problem? It's only the 80s.
It turned him into a hardened dick hole. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So I was like, great fight scene. Scene.
So that's when Daniel-san,
the double montage.
Well, and then Daniel-san says, "Now will you train me?" It's like Miyagi's now like, okay, I get it. Now we're gonna defend his honor.
I think I think maybe I'm going to cut Miyagi some slack and be like, he didn't want him in the tournament because he saw that Daniel-san just wanted for the trophy. Maybe Daniel-san didn't tell him that he was getting his ass kicked all the time, but I feel like he was constantly showing with bruises and shit. Like he knew that Mike Barnes was the bad boy in town and shit. He could smell.
He broke up the fight in the tree shop.
He could smell the bad, like the snake oil off of Silver. I mean, also, like, let's be real for a moment. The racism in this movie drips off.
Yes.
Like slime in a haunted house's walls. Silver is our bad guy. He's like a rich guy with a ponytail and
the ponytail. The ponytail.
So
it's bad.
It's so bad. But here's the thing. He is a delightful actor because when he is, for the brief moment when he introduces himself to Danny and he's nice and he's actually like legitimately seeming like he's coming across as helpful, I was like, I would buy him in that role. Like, if Miyagi were to step out and this dude were to step in, like, as sort of a shift into a new mentor, I would buy him because he was charismatic as a nice guy.
Right.
He was over the top and zany as a villain.
Right.
But I think as a nice dude, I think it was funny that he showed up and had a sense of humor about shit. And the fact that he was able to bottle up his non-specific rage that was also an unending fountain enough to be like, yeah, man, hey, we're buddies. Let's go get a milkshake.
Right.
Commitment.
Yes.
I think that's more about the actor than the character, though. Because it was written also very badly. All right. So, fuck this part of the movie. Everything that was done has now been rendered null because we cut to the devil's asshole again.
Right.
And they are replanting the bonsai tree.
Which is healed.
Miyagi
doctored it. He nursed it back.
Strong root.
Yeah.
Daniel, strong
he put
root.
some duct tape on that bitch and he's good to go.
What the fuck?
Little old man, they're going down the hole.
Effortlessly this time.
Yes.
Just do, plant the tree.
Yep.
Time enough for a Miyagi lesson, and he goes up. And I thought, so all of that, all of the going down, the risking your life, the going down,
the money.
The no money, the nearly killing the tree,
right?
The rape allegations, not allegations, but like the overly aggressive bullies and like the real risk of death. Null. Because
they just tree. They've got to put the tree.
They just planted it right back there. So I imagine like. In a real situation, they would be like, do, and I'm sure he would like slowly look over to Daniel, and he's like, now I hope it can stay this way, fucker. Like I put it here for a fucking reason, asshole. Right. I've got 1,000,000 classic cars, Daniel-san. Don't fuck with my tree, you dickhead. Right. I hate Danny. God damn it. Whatever. So thanks for making the whole crux of the movie pointless.
Yep.
Like, because it would be, because I thought, okay, maybe Miyagi would be like, oh, thanks. Since I now have the tree and it is healed, I'm going to keep it around as a reminder of your dedication to our relationship and our friendship. Nope. I'm going to plant that fucker right back where it was so I can tell you have a strong root.
That's right.
Oh, you kidding me? So angry about that part. So now it's time for the tourney.
Yep.
But it's very short because remember,
Danielson
only got to fight one fight.
And even though Barnes has to fight from the bottom all the way to the top, they cut right through it. Like he just kicks a few asses and he's there.
He's like the new bad boy of karate and has all these titles and all this money, but in this local LA tournament, he has to start with literally the scrags.
Right.
Now
you beat everybody to get up.
Here's the thing, though. You would know that referee with the thick mustache. Is he literally the same referee in every movie?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. I'm like, that's the same guy.
Yeah. He's the referee in the new show.
Also, very lax.
Yeah.
I don't know why he keeps getting the job.
Right.
Worst referee.
Yeah, he really lets a lot of shit slide.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
So, tourney time. We're obviously seeing that everybody's going to look the other way
And
about
Barnes
literally
is like,
everything. Barnes is doing everything illegal.
Contact.
Hitting people in the face, kicking dudes in the balls.
Yep.
They're like, don't do that, do it with a mustache. But it just keeps happening.
Over and over.
So I'm like, okay, we're going to fight dirty out in the open. No one's going to give a fuck. We're going to overcome the odds. Got it. I sort of checked out because I thought, I know what's going to happen, so why keep watching? But it did kind of keep me interested, so I'll give the movie that.
Well, you're so close to finishing it.
Right. But I was ready to check out just because, like, I know it's going to be like, because part of it is, so they introduce the bad guy, Silver. Right. He takes the mic.
Right.
He says, I own
sponsoring the whole thing,
Dynatox. I own Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is strong. Forget the last two movies. Kreese is a strong leader. Follow his lead. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, 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 blah. So it just seemed like so weird. Like, he hasn't seen anything. Everybody knows he's a disgrace. Dynatox also. Fuck you, Dynatox, you motherfucker. So anyway, we've all seen this before, but the things are different. Only for the reason to like abuse Daniel more for more pain. More pain and more suffering. Right. So it's the first of 3 points. But if after 3 minutes there is it's a tie, they go to sudden death. The plan is since Mike Barnes, since he's so good, the plan is to keep getting points and then getting a penalty point and taking it away.
You lose a point.
Yeah.
You gain a point. You lose a point.
You take it for the whole 3 minutes and then sudden death.
And then you go in for the point and you win.
Yeah, it's a very succinct plan. And it works.
Oh, he does. He pulls that off.
Now, it is incredibly frustrating because Mustache Ref says light contact, contact. He says,
he says it specifically to him.
Yeah, he
Mr.
says,
Barnes.
Mr. Barnes, light contact, no hitting the balls, no hitting the face, blah, 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 blah. Infraction after infraction. So it's point, no point, point, no point.
The fight stops and Barnes just turns around and punches him in the face.
Yes, he gets in a sucker punch.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He's granted 2 negative points.
Yeah.
And he's like, one more and that's going to be out of here. So when he sucker punches him, I guess since that's not during an actual fight, it's a completely different point.
Right.
I'm like, kick this motherfucker out. Like, but I'm sure Mustache Guy is in Silver's pocket. That shit's bought.
Yeah, so Daniel takes quite a beating.
Oh, yeah. And he's like...
And there's no special, hand trick
there's
to
no
fix
hand trick
him,
to
nothing.
He just has to believe in himself.
He just takes it, yeah.
And that's what it boils down to, is like, the plan goes off without a hitch. The point counterpoint keeps going, and we get to the 3 minute mark rather.
Yep.
Miyagi comes over and he's like, come on, man, pick it up a notch or something. Kill this guy, get him. And he's, I'm scared, Miyagi, I'm so scared.
Over. You want me to say it verbatim?
Yeah, do it.
He says, I'm scared of this guy. It's over. And Miyagi said, Daniel-san, it's okay, lose to opponent. It's not okay, lose to fear. Yeah. And then Daniel-san takes that big pause.
Brilliant.
And then Miyagi says, and it still gives me the chills because it's Miyagi, right?
Yeah, it's Miyagi.
Like, Daniel-san, you best karate still inside.
Yes.
Now time let out.
Yeah. The whole root
And then
metaphor,
Danielson's transformed.
Yeah.
He's calm. He's
gets
confident.
that,
he's focused.
Yeah. He gets that one thing at the end. Miyagi always sharpens him at that last second to a razor's edge.
Yep.
And the whole root thing, the whole build, the themes have been building to this point. So it is a fulfilling payoff.
Yes.
And
there's no crane kick though.
No crane kick, but it is a very skillful for once.
When the referee says go, he launches into the kata. And he's
and he starts freaking.
And Barnes was like, "What the freaking hell is this?" And
that's another thing that pays off.
Oh my god! It
pays
totally
off.
throws him.
because the whole time he's trading under Silver. Silver's like, kata's for wimps.
Right, yeah.
Kill, fight, win.
Yeah.
Kata bad, kata bad. Miyagi's all about the kata.
Uh-huh.
So the kata's the thing that like,
Uh-huh.
and
But it grounds Daniel too. Like
it
all
does.
of a sudden,
It does ground Daniel, but it unrealistically topples Barnes.
Right.
He is a karate master. He would be familiar with kata. He would have done
You would think.
dozens of repetitions of a kata.
You would
But he's
think.
like, he does that thing where he's like, whoa,
He doesn't even know what that is, yeah.
What? Like, he's like literally knocked off balance. Like,
Uh-huh.
you could have pushed him over and he's like, whoa, and fall into a giant pie
Yeah.
or whatever. And, quick as a flash, it's boom, over. Just like it always
he
is.
comes out, he's like, he does the move, and then he like gets in position, like he's ready to do the next move, and then Barnes comes at him, of course, just so, and Danielson just finishes the move, takes him out, done.
Takes him down. And the referee's like,
1 point.
boom, you're over.
Winner! Like,
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing we don't get closure on. Ohio, Jessica Anderson,
never.
she is gone.
We're watching it, and Mary's like, is she gonna come and like inspire him
Exactly.
to win? And like, yeah.
Not only was
no.
her Ohio side story useless, she was a dead end as a character.
Yeah, literally nothing ever happened.
And
after
if
that.
we are to believe the world of this movie, there is going to be a world in which Kreese is running 20 local Cobra Kai schools.
there is,
where
it's called
Daniel-
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, where Danielson
2020.
and Miyagi are living.
Yes.
Like, they could make their lives a living hell.
Yes.
So there's no winning for Danielson or Miyagi. So I have gotten requests to look into Cobra Kai. If I get enough, I might look into it, and maybe you'll be interested in doing that, I'm sure.
Of course.
So we'll see. But that was Karate Kid 3.
Yes.
There
There is a fourth one though.
surprisingly,
there's a fourth one.
yeah. Is that the one with
the girl.
Yeah, with
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank.
Yep.
So I think the weakest of the Machio Karate Kids, not the weakest of the franchise, but still endearing enough that I didn't totally hate it. Miyagi saves it. There are some interesting shots.
Yep.
The aesthetic of the 80s isn't over the top.
Right.
Except for the dance club. Holy
pretty
shit, the fucking dance club. That turtleneck was 4 inches tall.
Oh, yeah, it was
and the
choking.
hair. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah.
So barring a few things, I think it's a timeless
Yeah.
entry into the franchise. And I like the characters enough that the story is sort of stupid, and it's a mega Globex guy coming to take petty revenge on a It's not a dollar taking revenge on a dime. It's $1 million taking revenge on a dime
Right.
for unmotivationless, just because he had a beef with his Vietnam buddy.
You're gonna have to watch the show because my brain is now full blown launched into everything I need to say about Cobra Kai.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, how many seasons of Cobra
There's
Kai are
two, but like I said, the episodes are short. They're only like 22, 25
there? Yeah,
minutes.
so
And
like
there's like
regular
10 or 12.
TV eps.
You could do it in a weekend.
Well, oh god, I'll put this out. I'll put it on the Facebook and I'll ask, because I gotta be honest with you.
If you can sit through that movie, you can sit through that show.
Here's the thing. I understand that everybody's wheelhouse is 80s nostalgia, but mine is 90s. I know everybody loves the Ghostbusters, everybody loves Karate Kid, everybody loves Monster Squad. All the 80s shit is sort of tone deaf and hollow to me. 90s shit is my jam.
It's coming.
So,
Give it a
but
few
that's
more
the
years
thing.
and they'll
Everybody
be
around me
redoing
loves
the
these
90s.
80s properties that I cannot connect on. So that's why I'm grappling with the idea of watching the Karate Kid, because that his universe isn't super compelling to me, because now, especially that Miyagi is gone and we're left with dickhead Dan, and
Like I said, I'm telling you,
we'll
Daniel
we'll see.
LaRusso is worse than he has ever been.
I don't believe it. He's
Johnny Lawrence takes the place of Miyagi.
he
does. Not to that extent, but he carries the show the way Miyagi carried the movies.
I think he needs to. Like, I think he's from what I'm seeing of his like work and stuff, I think he is a good actor. and luckily because there's nobody else who could play that role, and it's come on, let's be real. So I don't know. We'll see how we.
You're gonna do it.
We'll see how this.
He's gonna do it.
My problem isn't like, oh, it'll be funny, because I'm sure it will be funny.
There are really funny, because the thing about the show too is not only is it like, of course it takes place in the modern day. They're all like 50, 60-year-old dudes now. They have kids of their own, and their kids are kind of entangled in the storyline.
Yeah, baby Karate Kid.
Basically, shit, what was I just gonna say? What did you say before that? I lost my train of thought.
That shit. That happens to me all the time. The 90s and the kids and their new Miyagi.
It'll come to me in a minute.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I that's a world that I needed, that everybody loves around me. That I'm like, should I? And so what I'm getting at is the time sink.
Yeah.
There's now 2 seasons to talk about and review.
Oh, it's easy to catch up.
I say that, but I'm
You're gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how the response is, because
Yep, you have.
well, maybe we'll make it a live show so that other people can sort of jump in and.
People have a lot to say about this show.
Yeah.
So it came out, remember, first it was on like YouTube and you had to pay for it.
Yes.
And I remember watching the first episode because it was free. And I'm like, I don't want to pay for YouTube. So I'm gonna, like, as much as I wanted to keep going just because of the nostalgia, I didn't.
Right.
And then I'm like, this is on Netflix now. And I couldn't stop. Like, it just, it is nostalgic, but I'm telling you, like,
here's what I think I can relate to you on. If like when people pick up a source material, they need to walk a very fine line where they pay homage to the thing that they are.
That's what I was gonna say.
They are passing along.
Yes, that's what it does so good.
But not sucking its dick.
Yes, that's what this does so well. Is there's so much. There's like flashbacks to the movies, like the memory scenes and stuff. But it also pokes just enough fun at itself. Like, it makes, like, there's a scene at a tournament, and it's like, the scene in the humor. You have to have the humor. You know the scene in the first one where Daniel he's off, he's injured, and they're gonna give Johnny Lawrence the trophy, and then she runs out and whispers in his ear, and he goes, "Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight," right?
Yeah.
They play on that scene, and this is and he's now the coach, right? So it's Daniel LaRusso's gonna coach. Like, they do. It's so dumb, but it's necessary because you can't take it super seriously because it's cheesy. But at the same time, Johnny Lawrence is getting all these accolades for how well he's actually carrying the show. Yeah, because he's like a serious character, and Daniel's still kind of a little joke. He's goofy, right? He's
like the worst. I haven't watched the first one in a while, so I can't remember if he was always this shitty. No, I feel like he was constantly calling down.
Yeah, the first one I think he was much better in, but now, I don't know, man. He's just not good. But he's whatever. Like, you don't end up watching it for him.
Yeah, you have to do it Gremlins 2 style.
Yeah,
you have to just commit to it being what it's going to be. Yes. Don't fuck with it. And if the fans respond, whatever, but don't cater to the fans.
No, and when you watch it, don't expect brilliance. Just take it for what it is.
It's the Karate Kid
It's nostalgic. Franchise. It's a little funny, but it also will surprise you at how good it can be at some.
Right. Here's I think people put too high expectations. Like, these are franchises from the 80s that were like, they're not indie art, like, meaningful franchise. These are big money-making blockbusters. Right. These aren't like deeper. I mean, you can find deeper lessons in them, but this is a mainstream product. Yes. Let's be real. Yeah. And for me, I think the 80s had a weird flavor.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a food that I will eat, but I will not actively seek out.
It's not your favorite.
If someone's like, try some of this, I'll be like, even if I know I'm like not into it, I'll still be like, okay. That's the 80s. That's Karate Kid for me.
Yep.
All right, Summer. Thanks for coming on the show and talking about Karate Kid 3.
You always sell me on Karate Kid.
I know. I knew I got you hooked. And honestly, I thought I would be more angry about it than I was. I found it more charming than anything. So maybe for the first time in one of my movie dissections, I'm not completely turned off by it.
Nice.
So, but they tried. It tried. Danielson, Mike Barnes, Snake, all the dudes, all the like the racism, all the rape stuff, all the 3 times they said slope in the movie.
Did you catch at the end in the tournament where they're screaming, "Where's your little Jap teacher now?"
Yeah.
I'm like, woo!
The 80s. But keep in mind, Pat Morita did not have an accent, but still put on the comedy L and R switch.
Yes.
So nobody's hands are exactly clean.
Right.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for listening. If you want to hear more, subscribe to wherever you heard this. We've got a YouTube channel. If you want, you can get to us. If you have something you want to say, fistfulpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter at FFOP Radio, somewhere on Instagram. If you like this, let me know, and I'll start watching Cobra
He's
Kai.
gonna do it.
We'll have to see. Maybe we'll make it like a mini series of things. So I don't know. Not promising anything, because every time I do, it doesn't happen. So, guys, until next week, thanks so much. Thanks, Summer, and we will see you next time on FFOP Radio.
Or they try to.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.